What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of this channel. Let me turn this candle on. All right, here we go. Thanks for joining me on this October edition of this channel. Thank you for all the new subscriptions. Thank you for the comments. I really appreciate it. Yes, scary records. All right, I had trouble naming this video, you know, scary, spooky. Well, it's all of it, you know. They're scary, they're spooky, and they're kind of creepy to me. All right, now these aren't you know, your typical albums. You know, you're not going to see the soundtrack to The Exorcist on here, or you know, something like that. These are albums that I think are scary. They either look scary, or yeah, one of them's a soundtrack, and one of them has like a scary story to it. But anyways, you'll get the idea. And what I really want to see here is a thread. I know I'm not popular enough to start a thread, but let's try, all right? If you've got scary records in your collection, or something that you think is scary, or maybe just a scary cover, I want you guys to share it, all right? Six of them. It could be anything. Maybe you've got a record that you think is haunted. All right. Hopefully not. But here's my list. Thank you for joining me. So I'm going to start off with this one right here. This is Black Magic by Aleister Crowley. All right. This is a 2021 album. It's basically you know, recordings of all his sermons and all his, you know, teachings. If you don't know who Aleister Crowley was, well, he was an occultist, a philosopher, madman. I think he was like a mountaineer too, or something. He started his own religion in the early 1900s. And, you know, to occultists around the world, he's pretty much kind of a king. Pretty much. He's very influential. This is an album on purple vinyl. All right. It is, like I said, it's a recording of all his sermons, but it's set to music by like dark synth bands that I don't know a lot about. Groups like Iman and that's the only one I know. Really dark music set to him, you know, preaching his stuff. And his recordings are taken from the original wax cylinder that they were recorded on. All right, take that, Chad Kassem. All right, original master recordings. This is from the original wax cylinder. Okay, taken and recorded in the early 1900s. And it sounds like it, because it sounds like but the music over it is pretty creepy. He's there just, you know, preaching, and it's, you know, dark synth music, and it's, you know, a pretty creepy cover. You know, you could put this on for Halloween and, you know, scare the shit out of the kids or something. Good times. Aleister Crowley. To show you how influential Crowley was, you know, here's a copy of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the Beatles. The Beatles put, you know, people who they were fans of, people that they liked, people who influenced them maybe. There's, you know, Edgar Allan Poe right there. There's W.C. Fields, Bob Dylan, Marlene Dietrich is on here. And then right over here is Aleister Crowley, right in the upper left hand corner. So he made it on to the Beatles album. So next album coming up right here is this guy right here. One of my favorite bands, Interpol. I love Interpol. This is their second album, Antics. Alright, Antics has a really sweet kind of dark sound throughout the whole thing, even darker than their first album. Now, one song in particular that I really love is a song called Evil. Okay, Evil has one of the coolest bass lines. I mean, just such a sweet bass line. And the song sounds sweet. I mean, it sounds like a love song. It is a love song. The opening line is, you know, Rosemary, heaven restores you in life. It just sounds so cool along that bass line that's playing. And it sounds like a sweet song. It sounds like a love song. But it's a song about two very ugly, evil people. The Rosemary in here is none other than Rosemary West, and the guy singing to her supposedly is her husband, Fred West. If you don't know who Fred and Rosemary West were, they were some really ugly serial killers from England that murdered and tortured like over 12 children, including their own. They would foster children or take kids in off the street and basically take advantage of them and torture them. And the cops found out about them because of their first daughter going missing. They never reported her missing, and she just ended up disappearing, and they're like, where'd this girl go? Anyways, their suspicion led them to their house, where they found her buried under their floorboards. And then they ended up finding, I don't know how many more bodies buried around their house. Fred and Rosemary West, you can, you know, YouTube them, see all sorts of true crime stuff about them. It's a sad, horrible story. They were tortured people. They were abused. And then they ended up inflicting all this horror on all these kids. That line, that opening line, Rosemary, heaven restores you in life. Rosemary West maintained her innocence. I think she still does. She's still in a jail in England. But Fred, you know, confessed to everything, and he even tried to say that she had nothing to do with it. But him singing to her, well, it's Paul Banks, of course, but, you know, as Fred West, singing to her, you know, heaven restores you in life, is just basically saying, you know, if you confess, we'll be forgiven. And the entire song has references to their life, their case. If you want to go through the lines, the lyrics one by one, and kind of look up their history, go for it, especially if you like true crime. And that's spooky album number 2 on my list, Interpol's Antics. And now coming up at number 3 is this guy right here. One of my favorite albums of all time, all right? Breakfast in America by Supertramp. This is the Mo-Fi version. This record almost made my most played list, because I do play this one a lot. The whole album from beginning. I think Goodbye Stranger is a freaking masterpiece. The way that song just kind of begins with that electric piano, and then ending up in that big climax with that awesome guitar solo. Anyways, why is this on here? This album's creepy to me because, first of all, it looks creepy. Alright? Breakfast in America, you've got, you're looking out the window of a plane here, and instead of seeing the New York skyline, you're seeing, you know, breakfast plates and salt and pepper shakers and things like that. And instead of the Statue of Liberty, you got this creepy looking woman right here. I mean, she looks creepy, alright? That's a scary cover. You know, it's not the Statue of Liberty, it's a waitress, like at a diner. Her name is Libby, and she's holding up a thing of orange juice there. Great cover, alright? It's brilliant, and creepy. But why else is it creepy? Well, you can Google this, and there's a bunch of videos about this, especially one on Vinyl Rewind. The Geek did a whole video on this cover, basically on how it may have predicted 9/11. Alright, so let me show you what the theories are, or the conspiracy is, or whatever you want to call it. Now remember, this album came out in 1978, and people claim that it predicted 9/11. Now I'll show you why, and you can be the judge of that. If you look at the skyline there, Obviously, that's the New York skyline. And there's the Twin Towers, right? What people say is right above the Twin Towers, where the U and the P in Supertramp are. If you flip that, it's not a U and a P anymore. It's a 9 and an 11. Alright, I'll try to flip it here. You see that? But if you have this album, I mean, go ahead and hold it up to the mirror. Yeah, it's 9/11, right above the towers. And the orange juice that she's holding, supposedly that's, you know, the fire, the explosions, or the gas that was in the planes. And then the last clue is in the back, where, you know, you've got the band having breakfast and reading, you know, the headlines for that day. And one of the headlines says, "Boy dies in train horror." And that's it. And then there's like some other headlines that you can't really read. And they're all sitting down and reading these headlines at breakfast time. Everybody in America found out about 9/11 in the morning. Some of us were already at work. Some of us were on our way to work. Some of us were just getting up. But we were all finding out about it in the morning. And here they are finding out about some tragic news over breakfast. Alright, what do you guys think? Huh? Let me know in the comments. Next album. Alright, so album number 4 is a really cool album, and probably the scariest one, because I think if I play this backwards on my turntable, I might unleash the gates to hell. It's by the band Sacrifix, alright, and the album is The Dark Book, alright. Like I said, I won't play this, I won't even open it, because I'm afraid of it. Look at that. What is this really, though? This is the soundtrack to the movie The Gate, alright? If you guys are fans of 80s horror, I don't know if you guys know the movie The Gate. The Gate came out in 1987. It stars a young Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff and I think, are around the same age. And so we were the same age when the movie came out. And he plays a character named Glenn. And him and his little buddy next door find a record where they claim that if it's played backwards, you'll unleash the gates to hell. And just like in every horror movie, they do what they're not supposed to do, and they unleash the gates to hell. Alright? This is the soundtrack to that movie, and I love the way they packaged it. They packaged it to make it look like the album that they use in the movie. You know, that's the band right there. And this album contains the soundtrack, like the heavy metal music that they use in there, and some of the score. Anyways, cool movie. If you watch it now, I'm pretty sure you'll think it's corny. Great special effects for 1987. Fun movie. I mean, I saw it the other day. I thought it was really cool. I bought this at the Midsummer Scream last year. There was a record booth, and the guy had a bunch of horror records. He had the soundtrack to Black Christmas, the soundtrack to Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then he had this, and I was like, yes, I must have that. But I won't open it, okay? Anyways, there's Scary album number 4, and moving on. So my 5th album in this collection is going to be this one right here. Alright? Hail Satin by the DGs. Alright? This is a scary record. Alright? This is creepy. What is this? It's the Foo Fighters, damn it. Alright? They are singing Bee Gees songs. Alright? And they're not covers, really. They're literally singing Bee Gees songs as Bee Gees, all right? Or not Bee Gees, the DGs, all right? This came out for Record Store Day 2 years ago, all right? I got my ass up at 5:30 in the morning to line up and get one of these. I ended up getting like the last one. There's the original price of $29.99. It's kind of cool to know that I can't get rid of this for less than 200 bucks, all right? The price that you, the things you get for getting up early in the morning, right? Anyways, it's a cool album. It sounds kind of creepy. A friend of mine didn't like it. You know, they were like, I thought it was going to be covers. I didn't know that they were going to actually try and sound like them. And they do. And they do a good job of it. And the whole thing rocks. And it's only one side that's Bee Gees. The rest is songs from Medicine at Midnight, I believe. I've only played it once. I played it one freaking time and then just, you know, put it right back in here. I really like that picture in the back. So why else is this creepy, to me at least? Some of the songs they sing on here, you know, You Should Be Dancing. I don't have a list of the songs on here. You Should Be Dancing is on here. And then Shadow Dancing is on here, okay? Shadow Dancing is sung by Taylor Hawkins. Taylor passed away a couple years ago, passed away while he was on tour in Colombia. You know, had a cornucopia of drugs and alcohol in him. Taylor had a great voice. I mean, I used to like when he would come from behind the kit and sing Queen songs. But then he also sings a really good song called Cold Day in the Sun. If you look that up on YouTube, he sings that, you know, while he's playing drums. Great song, great voice. Taylor had a really cool voice, and he sings Shadow Dancing on here, okay? And it's a great version. Now, who sang Shadow Dancing for the Gibb brothers? It wasn't any of the Bee Gees. It wasn't the older brothers. It was younger brother. And Andy Gibb sang Shadow Dancing. Andy had a great career of his own, solo career, away from his brothers. Shadow Dancing was a huge hit, and guess what? Andy passed away from drugs and alcohol too. He was the youngest brother. He was the youngest Gibb brother. When Taylor passed away in Colombia, he complained of chest pains. The paramedics showed up, didn't make it in time. When Andy passed away, he complained of chest pains, and the paramedics showed up, didn't make it in time. Both died of drugs and alcohol. Both of them died way too soon. Taylor was 50, Andy was 30, and there is Scary album number 5. It's not all downers, everybody, because Scary album number 6 is actually not that scary at all. It's pretty cool. It's the brand new Zoetrope picture disc of A Nightmare Before Christmas. Alright, it's the soundtrack, brand new, remastered on 2 Zoetrope picture discs. Alright, what the hell is that? I don't like picture discs, but if it's a Zoetrope, I'm all for it. Zoetrope is a revolving mechanism or a carousel with different still images on it, and as it revolves, you know, you look at one image and it appears to move. All right, in this case it's the vinyl. There's 2 vinyls, there's 4 sides of Zoetropes. I'm gonna show them all right here. Enjoy. Thank you for watching the video. You guys, share your scary videos. Let's start a thread. I want to see a bunch of videos of everyone sharing their 6 scariest records. I mean, come on, Vinyl Richie, I know you got some scary in your collection. Come on, everybody, let's do this. Happy October. Have a great Halloween. And happy record collecting, everybody. See you next time.